Hi, I'm Elle Flanders, and I'm here with Rachel Giza, who's the senior editor at The Walrus. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you.
Your article about bullying, the bully pulpit.
Yes.
I loved it. It was great.
Thank you.
It was very provocative.
Thanks.
And you raised the issue that bullying in our media frenzied hysteria has become the catch-all for anything and everything.
Right.
And I was just kind of curious. You're not suggesting, however, that bullying doesn't exist, are you?
No, not at all. I mean, I think that that to me, I think it's fantastic that people are taking bullying a lot more seriously. I think it's, you know, it's great that educators are talking about it. I think it's great that we've moved away from an approach that might have been of our parents' generation, which is let kids be kids and this kind of stuff just happens and you turn a blind eye to it. I think it's great that kids are talking about diversity and tolerance and all of those things. But at the same time, I feel like the conversation, the public conversation about bullying has swung so far that it incorporates now everything from you know, true acts of bullying, which to me, I would define as sort of an ongoing systemic targeting of a kid for their real or perceived differences. So picking on a kid because of their race, because of their sexual orientation, you know, because of their size, all of those things that is sort of targeted and sustained. That to me is different than the kind of very routine and common conflicts that happen between kids as they learn how to be social beings. And I feel like there's been this offloading of those conflicts and the ways in which kids try to figure out how to get along, the ways in which kids can be aggressive. It all gets lumped under the label of bullying, which isn't to say that there aren't kids who are terribly frightened to go to school, who are being, you know, picked on in the most cruel ways possible. At the same time, I think where the conversation has gone, which is sort of where you and I began, is that I feel like every act of aggression or conflict between children is getting pathologized in a way. So if somebody, like, you know, in the case of, you know, the piece started with an anecdote about my son, who is, you know, 90% of the time one of the sweetest people I know, and he also has a temper, and he can also throw a punch when he's angry. And to me, I think that I want that to be corrected. I don't want that to be the way he goes through the world. It's not going to work for him. He needs to control his temper. And at the same time, I don't want that flash of temper to always be seen as something that is so strange or sort of the norm of human behavior. And we talked earlier about things like road rage. I mean, you know, when we have you know, in City Hall in Toronto, people behaving in ways towards one another that are completely intemperate and rude. When we have, you know, a lack of civil discourse in the House of Commons, you know, people sort of, you know, there's some pearl clutching around it. But I feel like that's sort of seen as, well, politicians and this, but when kids do the same thing, it's, this is terrible, they're bullies, it's a problem, they need to be expelled, they need to, I worry that behavior that's normal, behavior that can be corrected.
Well, it's unregulated, so we feel the need to regulate it.
Yeah.
So, but did you punish your son when he threw a punch?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did. I mean,
Corporal?
Yes. No, but you know, I mean, the thing is, he gets disciplined for that. I mean, this is not behavior. You know, it's interesting because I was really nervous when I wrote this piece because I thought people would think that I wasn't taking bullying seriously. And you know, what I declined to say, what I didn't say when I wrote the piece is that, you know, I'm a lesbian, my kid is Aboriginal, he's got a speech disorder. In many ways, he is the perfect target for bullies. In many ways, our family's experience is one that we very much understand what it means to feel outside, what it means to feel picked on, what it means to be shut out from power. And at the same time, you know, even within that, my kid can be someone who's on the receiving end of you know, aggression, and he can also dish it out. I don't always think that bullying, or what we call bullying, is this one-way street. I think that in the same way that I think that the way adults talk about it, they seem to have sort of, like when you said earlier, you must have been the world's worst bully, because I think that you're able to recall the times that you were a jerk when you were a kid. I think a lot of adults like to have sort of a rosy glow about their childhood, and they remember the times they were picked on, but they're not as comfortable to admit that they once didn't invite someone to a party or cut off a friend and you know, called somebody a name, right? I mean, it's much easier.
I was never a jerk. I was just suffering from a dark side of humanity. Just to correct you.
Yes, fair enough. Okay, okay.
I was depressed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to elaborate on a great piece.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.